I'm really sure that the first time historic humans looked up at the sky, they were really mesmerized. There were some little round gleams, twinkling lights that they saw up in the sky, and they were twinkling, they were bright, but they appeared as if they were frozen in space and time. And the reason is because of our perspective. We moved really quickly, but the stars remained where they were. So humans, as curious as we are, started keeping records. And over the centuries that we have maintained records, we figured out something really important. We realized that there are stars and then there are planets. They are bigger lights that we see moving through the sky at a faster pace as compared to the stars. And we realized, okay, these planets have an effect on us. These planets have an effect on humans and on life in general. Some of these planets are protective by nature and some of them may cause us some harm. So when we started this whole method of centuries of record keeping, they were able to figure these things out. They were able to realize how exactly planets affected us, how exactly these nakshatras or lunar mansions affected us. And that is how the first astrologer was born. Now we don't know who he or she was. We only know that they were curious and they understood the world in a way that people before them did not. And astrology is a beautiful science that way because it helps you in understanding the world in new ways, get new perspectives, understand yourself a lot better. So even though astrology helps you in answering very simple and banal questions like, when will I get married? Will I get rich? Will I even have money? Will I have children? Will I even have money? It really is helping you in understanding your true life purpose. And this is where we need to realize a few things. India and Vedic astrology in general, or the Indian system of astrology, is really deep, very intuitive, and a lot more complex as compared to the Western system. And of course, I'm not against the Western system or the tropical zodiac. I use it very frequently and I found it to be very interesting and very accurate at the same time. However, the Indian system works a lot on nakshatras. And this nakshatra thing, this whole nakshatra pattern is what makes the Indian system so bloody accurate and so easy to follow. So complex, no doubt, but also so very easy. So, what I realized when I started learning astrology at the age of 13 or 15, I don't exactly remember because I was too young, and astrology just came very naturally to me. It was like, it was always a part of my life. And of course, you can see it right there in my kundli too. So when I first started, everything in astrology that I read about or I learned was absolute. It was as if everything is determined, as if the number of times I'm breathing is predetermined, as if I cannot speak what I'm speaking without that determinism. And that didn't really sit well with me because I was also trying to study Vedanta. And what Vedanta said didn't really match well with what astrology was saying, at least at that time. Astrology was very deterministic by nature. It said this is what is supposed to happen. And that's it. You can't move ahead of it. So if you have a particular nakshatra, if you have a particular star, if you have a particular planet in a particular position, this is precisely what's going to happen to you, and then there is no way out. And I did not like it. Because what the Vedas said was very different. It said Pradyanam Brahma, and it also said Aham Brahmasmi, and it means something really simple. It says that consciousness is the supreme reality or the supreme God, and I am that supreme God. So if the supreme God has all the powers in the world, I too have all the powers in the world. If the supreme God can change reality, maybe I can change reality too. Not in a huge way, but to a little extent. And that is what got me really interested in holistic astrology. Over the years, because of my profession and how I was working, I got to meet thousands of people. And I also saw thousands of kundlis. And what I realized was that kundlis sometimes say one thing and the person is doing the exact opposite. Right? Kundlis often suggest one thing, but the exact opposite is happening in their life. The absolutism, the determinism of people who have come before me, and full respect to them, but I don't support that. That absolutism and that determinism actually created a lot of hurdles in other people's lives by making them a slave to their planets and a slave to their kundlis. And I've always maintained this one thing, your Kundli cannot be your life sentence. It's not like we are here on earth to go through all this and to, consume all these things and to suffer and whatever. I don't believe in suffering. I believe we are here to suffer, but at the same time, we can choose to live in Ananda, to live beautifully and in bliss. And it's not easy. It's going to be the most difficult thing in the world. But we'll do it nonetheless because we are humans. And as humans, we have the consciousness to understand God and understand the will of God too, because it is our will eventually. I don't know how much I'll go on talking about this, but since I've experienced this, I realized that astrology has to become a lot more flexible, and it has to have a very humane perspective, not the perspective of one guy sitting throughout his life in a small cubicle-like space and then deciding that this planet will do this and this planet will do this and that is how it is. It is what it is. And I'm like, no, it's not. Something else must be working. And there must be people who can change whatever they're experiencing. There must be people who can change their realities, because that is precisely how sages are born. And that is when holistic astrology was born too. In the past 5 years, I have been working extensively on holistic astrology on YouTube. I've come out with a lot of series as well through Bhagyashree Holistic Astrology, which is my Hindi channel. Then Bhagyashree Living, how to integrate holistic principles into your life. Bhagyashree Dharma, which explores religion, spirituality, and other such things. And then finally, this is Astrology by Bhagyashree, which is my attempt to reach out to the world in a language that a sizable chunk of you probably understand. I'm here to exchange ideas. I'm here to learn from you too. And I'm here to share whatever I have experienced in my life till date. We'll talk a lot about astrology. We'll talk about everything I have learned. And I would prefer to talk about very deep, holistic, conceptual astrology, which I believe that if you learn about it once, you'll be able to remember it forever, and it's going to change your life. Because all we need is one concept, all we need is one ray of light, and everything else really works out for us. So this is a new channel. We are going to work on it, of course. And let's see where it goes. Let's see how much I'm able to produce here. And let's see how we are able to connect with each other. But as I've mentioned, my goal is to bring holistic astrology to the world. And I think this is the first step in actually making it available to the world and not just to Indians who understand Hindi. So, wish me luck and let's do well.